Hey everybody, good morning. It's Sunday morning. It's time for some coffee and we'll look at some comic stuff, some comic news, things that look interesting. I was breezing through some of the articles today. I noticed on Bleeding Cool, Alan Moore did a quick little video showing his support for Extinction Rebellion. I guess they're doing some protests in London, a 2-week series of protests. Boy, another good reason not to live in cities. Who wants to deal with protests for 2 weeks? And I watched the video, and it looks like they're blocking several streets. And of course, the police show up and asking people to disperse, and they're not. People are just dancing. Yeah, I mean, this is the culture and society all around the world these days. Especially, I noticed in developed nations, countries like the UK, US, Australia. I think people are just, I don't know, they're searching for purpose, and I think a lot of people just gravitate to all kinds of things. I can tell you, I'm not a far left leaning person at all. I'm more conservative. I lean a little bit more to the right, not on everything. I think people should be left alone and be able to do what they want. I don't think we should be regulating anybody's decisions in their life, who they want to marry. I'm very socially liberal in those respects, but I don't think it's a good idea to protest and ban the police and defund the police specifically. And I'm also not somebody who buys into the tribalism of, oh, that the planet's going to be destroyed. We're destroying the planet. I definitely think that we should do our best not to pollute the earth, right? Dropping chemicals in rivers and lakes and just common sense stuff. Let's not do any of that. Try to get off of coal and oil. I think it would be a good thing overall. But I'm not one of these people that believes that we need to go back to the Stone Age and not have any vehicles or basically any human progress, because if we do, well, we're going to destroy the planet. I don't believe we're going to destroy the planet that way. If we're going to destroy the planet, it's going to be because we set off a bunch of nuclear warheads. That absolutely could destroy the planet. But I don't think it's going to be because we've got too many SUVs on the road. I don't think it's going to be because of that. No doubt about it, I wouldn't want to live in a city that has a lot of smog. So I think the electric vehicles will solve a lot of that, but I don't know. Back in the 70s, most scientists, the consensus was that the Earth was cooling and that we were going to face a major ice age that was going to destroy most of life on the planet. That was literally the consensus from scientists back from 1968 to about 1979. That was the consensus, and there's all kinds of articles that you can look up that verify this. That was the ongoing discussion scientifically, and of course, in the late 80s, early 90s, it was global warming. Right, global warming is going to destroy the planet. Temperatures are all around the Earth are rising. Well, we found that that's not correct either. The temperatures lately, in the last 5 years, have been dropping. So yeah, the Earth, it's called weather. The Earth goes up in temperature and goes down. I believe wholeheartedly it has very little to do with human beings. I think it has more to do with just cycles of the planet. Our planet revolves around the sun, and any scientists, especially astrophysicists that understand rotation of planets, they will tell you that there are periods of time in the rotation of the Earth around the sun that we are slightly closer to the sun. Even a degree or two can warm the planet significantly. Or a solar flare from the sun, which we of course have no control over, could easily warm the planet several degrees, something that human beings would have a hard time trying to do, even if we set off a bunch of nuclear warheads. It's difficult to match what the sun can do. So that's my little my little rant on, I mean, I'm not an anti-environmentalist at all, but Alan Moore, I think he's a great writer. He's one of the best writers of all time. I think, in my opinion, The Watchmen is probably the best comic book I've ever read. I think it's that good. I would put Kingdom Come up there with it. I would also put Preacher. There's several artists, creators rather, that I just think are on the level of Alan Moore. But he does look a little crazy these days. He looks like your crazy uncle. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, so he's putting his voice out there. Okay, big deal. Alan Moore, you're still a great writer. I probably don't agree with your political ideology at all, but I still think you have a great creative mind. All right. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the lawsuit, Scarlett Johansson's Disney lawsuit. So she filed lawsuit against Disney mainly because Disney violated her contract. It's a clear violation of contract. In the contract, it talked about the theater release. There was no mention of a simultaneous release on Disney Plus. So the Disney Plus release obviously reduced the amount of ticket sales in the theater. And that obviously violated her contract. She made less money. I mean, she still was paid well, but that's not the point. The point of the lawsuit wasn't, I just want more money. The point of the lawsuit was Disney violated a contract. If you work for Disney and you violate part of your contract, you don't think Disney's going to sue you? Of course they will. So Disney is clearly in the wrong here. And I think Disney knows it because they're backtracking. You know, they interviewed Elizabeth Olsen, who plays she plays a Scarlet Witch, and she's showing her support for Scarlett Johansson. It says here, after initially responding to this litigation with a misogynistic attack against Scarlett Johansson, Disney is now, predictably, trying to hide its misconduct in a confidential arbitration, Johansson's main attorney said. Why is Disney so afraid of litigating this case in public? Because it knows that Marvel's promise to give Black Widow a typical theater release, like its other films, had everything to do with guaranteeing that Disney wouldn't cannibalize box office receipts in order to boost Disney Plus subscriptions. It says, however, Berlansky alleges that this is exactly what happened, and his team hopes to show the overwhelming evidence to prove it. So how do we know that Disney's in trouble? Well, it says here, late last Friday night, Disney's lawyers filed a motion in Los Angeles Superior Court asking that the case take place behind closed doors. They allege that Johansson's company, Periwinkle Entertainment, agreed that all claims arising out of, in connection with, or relating to Scarlett Johansson's acting services for Black Widow would be submitted to confidential binding arbitration in New York. According to the filing, Disney claims that Periwinkle's claims in the lawsuit fall within the scope of that agreement. So, of course, Disney does not want to generate more publicity. They don't want this going out into the public. A private confidential arbitration means that once they reach an agreement, basically they're going to have to pay Scarlett Johansson something. What that dollar amount will not be disclosed. That will be kept private and confidential. She won't be able to talk about it. All the details from that arbitration are held private and confidential. So, of course, Disney would rather go that route than going to a trial where not only will you have very poor publicity, that will be very bad for Disney, especially if things come out, this evidence that they have about how they were pushing Disney Plus subscriptions over, using that movie to do that. Yeah, that would be very, very damning to Disney. There's no doubt Disney's in the wrong here. And so pretty much what will happen is they're going to settle with Scarlett Johansson probably in the coming weeks. Don't be surprised within the next couple weeks that they settle. We won't know how much money it will be, but I'm sure she won't need to work anymore. I'm sure she's going to get a chunk of money. Um, I don't know. I liked the Black Widow movie overall. I thought it was pretty entertaining. I didn't like every aspect of it, but overall, I thought it was pretty good. I liked it a lot better than the Suicide Squad. I thought that movie was pretty terrible. Marvel. I don't know. Marvel's they've got a challenge ahead of them. That Shang-Chi is not done well. I doubt it will make enough money to break even. Um, the problem is you can't spend big box office money to make a movie if you're basically going to just release it on a Disney Plus streaming. You're not going to get enough bang for your buck. You really can't make enough money to even cover the cost of producing a movie. So I don't know what's going to happen here. I mean, I think Disney, you can see them move away from doing these big box office blockbuster movies, and I think you could see them just doing a lot more streaming shows. The streaming shows are popular. I just watched the What If streaming series on Disney Plus last night. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I thought the animation was great. Uh, I thought it was awesome. I think they need to do more stuff like that. So I don't know. Until we are completely, I don't know. Are we ever going to be completely away from this COVID thing? I don't know. I mean, I'm in Florida, and yeah, we're having problems with people that have been vaccinated are getting the Delta variant. So of course they're coming out with a booster shot. I think Pfizer has a booster shot that they want people to take to increase your immunity to the disease, right, to the virus. So I don't know. It's crazy. I think this virus is going to be with us for a long time. How long, I don't know, but I think right now even the leading virologists in the world don't know how long we're going to be dealing with this. So I don't know. Are we ever going to see a return to normalcy within people going to the movies? I don't know. I think a lot of people are so trained to watch movies from home now on their streaming service. I think it's going to be tough. I think the movie theaters are going to have to do a lot more to get people to come back. Maybe charge less for the food. Maybe have nicer seats. IMAX type of experience, right? I want to experience something that's far superior than my TV, right? I've got a nice TV. It's a high definition. The sound is fantastic. But if I go to the movie theater, it's going to have to be way, way better than what I could watch it at home. So I don't know. The last several times I went to a movie theater, which was probably way more than a year ago, I didn't think it was that great. I wasn't, I'd rather just watch a movie on my couch. I'm a lot more comfortable in my own home watching a movie, and I've got a big screen TV. I don't know. Who knows what the future holds? I just know that I think the movie industry is definitely has some problems. I think in the old, just a few years ago, it was, what was it, 2018, 2019? Marvel had like 6 or 7 movies that were over $1 billion. It was crazy. And now I don't think they can get one movie to hit $1 billion. So it's a huge change in the entertainment industry, no doubt about it. All right, guys, that's kind of what I had for you this morning. Also in the mail, just yesterday, I got this Moon Knight #1. This is the Alan Qua. That's the Virgin. It's pretty cool, black and white. I like the design of that cover. So I don't know, the Virgin cover probably is less than 1,000. I'm pretty sure it's about maybe 600 to 700 print run. And then you got the trade dress as well. Very nice. I like it. Alan Qua did a nice job on that one. I also got in the mail Ice Cream Man #25. These are the poster variants. That's obviously the Jim Carrey mask homage. Pretty creepy. Just thought it was pretty nice. Picked up 2 of those. That was a Scorpion Comics exclusive. I think it was limited to, 666 copies. Very nice. Sign of the Devil. It's definitely a creepy comic book. I like Ice Cream Man. I think that's one of the best independent books written today. Highly recommend that you pick it up. I think the other thing I was going to talk about real quick was there's more and more people going to Substack. I think another comic book creator just announced their departure from Marvel. I think it's Nick Spencer, is it? Well, he hasn't created it yet, but I think that is going to be one of the new creators on Substack is going to be Nick Spencer. Of course, James Tynion, I've talked about him. He was one of the big creators that just recently left or is leaving DC to do his own Substack to do independent comics. Donny Cates was the other one. I don't think he's created anything. Yeah, it looks like he has. KLC Press. So it looks like they're already starting to put videos on their Substack. You can subscribe to their email. I don't know if they've come up with a private subscription yet. Yeah, I have to look it up and see what their cost is. I don't know. Donny Cates. Looks like some of their stuff's free right now, anyways, to watch the videos. But yeah, that's the trend. So, as I've said many, many times before, if you want to build your brand, you basically got to cut your teeth with Marvel and DC for a couple years. Try to do some exciting things. You get popular based on being creative, taking characters to different areas maybe that haven't been explored. Cates and Tynion are good examples of that. They're good writers. They create buzz and excitement. They can handle big events, and they basically built up their brand. They're very well known now in the comic book industry. I remember when Donny Cates, I was reading Donny Cates when he wasn't even at Marvel. He had a couple books for Image. He did God Country, which was years ago, and then he did Redneck. And then finally he landed a job at Marvel to start doing writing there with Venom and Thanos and some of those characters. But prior to that, he was he wasn't well known. So I think Marvel and DC are good launching pads for these creators to become way more well known, and then the way to cash out is to go independent, create your own label, create your own publishing, and reap the reward. Instead of giving most of the profits and revenue and royalties to Marvel or DC, you keep it for yourself. So that's why you're seeing this move. So Nick Spencer, who I haven't liked Nick Spencer over the years. I didn't like Secret Empire. A lot of people didn't like Secret Empire. He fundamentally changed Captain America in a bad way, and obviously Marvel's retrenched on all of that. And then his Amazing Spider-Man run, I just didn't think it was that good. I tried reading it several times. I wasn't impressed. So I'm not overly impressed with Nick Spencer as a writer. I think he's mediocre at best. But obviously he's made a career for himself. He's getting money to go to Substack. Not only that, he's going to be recruiting. He's basically going to be an agent to recruit other creators to come over to Substack. So yeah, Substack could be up there with Image and some of these other independent publishers pretty soon. But they're basically just a place to create the content. They don't publish. You still have to get a publisher to print your comic book. So if Nick Spencer goes over there, he's going to have somebody print his comic book, whether it's Boom Studios prints it, I'm sure they're going to want a cut of the business. Image, a lot of people use Image because you retain all the rights and royalties. You're basically just paying Image a publishing fee to print the book. So that's what I think you're going to see more of, is a lot of these creators go over to Substack. Substack pays them money, but they're going to want a return on their investment at some point, right? So if you're not selling a lot of comic books and publishing a lot of comic books, yeah, I would imagine that deal is going to end at some point. So, I mean, it's how it should be in business. It's how you're producing. If you are selling a lot of comic books, then you're going to get paid more. That's how it should be. So it's nice to see an outlet for creators to make more money, and I don't know. It should be a little bit of a wake up call for Marvel and DC that maybe they should try to do more to retain talent, and not just give them more money. I think you need to also give the creators a little bit more royalty rights, the ability to make money off of a particular storyline. If you're publishing a trade paperback based on the storyline that was written by that writer, they should be getting a good deal of that money. And maybe in some cases they are, I don't know, but just thought that would be interesting to talk about. All right, guys, that's what I had for you. Hope your weekend's going well. I might do a Instagram video later today, just highlighting some more comic books, some key comics from my collection. That would be Key Comics video number 4. So look for that later this afternoon. Hope you guys have a good morning. I'll see you soon.